Welcome to Blueprint Boost for Contractors, the podcast that's your go-to source for unlocking the secrets to successful marketing, gaining valuable insights, and growing your contracting business with less stress. Your host is David Brooks, and he's thrilled to be your guide on this journey. As a seasoned expert in the contracting industry, David understands the challenges you face. That's why each episode is crafted to provide you with actionable strategies and proven blueprints to boost your business to new heights.
Hello, everyone. We'd like to welcome you to our latest episode of the podcast. We have a guest with us for this episode, and I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Tommy Mello here. Pleasure to be here, David. Man, I've just been grinding all week. It's nice to be a Friday. We're growing. We're growing. It's a tough time right now out there. But Tommy Mello, A1 Garage Door Service. Been in business about 18 years. Should do probably 260 million this year. But revenue is for vanity, profits for sanity. We got about 25% of the bottom line. And man, there's just a lot going on. I got my Freedom event coming up, Home Service Freedom, and I got vertical track coming up. But I'm a home service guy, blue collar guy through and through. I love marketing, I love sales, and I love culture. Those are the three things I gravitate to. Founded the company in 2007, and here we are.
All right. Well, glad to have you. Like you said, this year's been rocking and rolling. You got a lot of initiatives going on. So we're definitely excited about that too as well. And you mentioned those pillars, sales, also being able to revenue, and growth also too, an area of opportunity for any home service business owner to be concerned about. But I think particularly, we want to be able to hone in on one for this particular episode, and that's around sales.
Sales is everything.
So when we're thinking about sales, what makes a good salesperson to you?
Yeah, so I try to find personalities and train a good human being. Eye contact, tonality, not stuttering, knowing, being able to remember the verbiage, building the architecture. So a lot of people say, make it your own. I don't believe in that. Our goal is to get it to where it's the same every time. Of course, when you're building rapport, it's going to be your own way. But, sales during the C word here a couple of years ago, got to be careful on podcasts because the way Amazon picks that up, but everybody just raised their prices and kept raising them. And now we're getting back to kind of normal, and it's really tough. You can't just price your way out anymore. So, you got to be able to differentiate your product, know your products. I just try to find great human beings, people that smile a lot. I love athletes because they know how to practice. They like to win. They understand the score. I like performance pay, but really a great smile, a great story, and you believe in yourself. You take care of yourself. You want more out of life. You dream bigger. Those are the people that gravitate to me that I'm always impressed with.
And, having those key characteristics, like you said, are so important, being able to smile, right? Being able to be upbeat. But even if they have those characteristics, I'm seeing a lot of stuff today where the market is changing, things are different, and I'm in Reddit and I'm seeing sales guys out there and they've been successful, but it seems like they've kind of hit that slump. What would you say to them?
I say go back to the basics. A lot of times we have a lot of refreshers. We've got a whole team that works with each and every guy, several one-on-ones a week or some a week, some a month. We've got the morning mojo calls, the Thursday morning meetings. We've got sales coaches. We've got performance coaches. We use Rilla Voice to record each conversation in the field. Make sure you're staying on script. But it's those magic moments, the giving options, because if you're not giving options, you're giving ultimatums. Sometimes just having an accountability partner, someone to say snap out of it, change your mindset, It's you. It's not the customers. It's not the economy. It's not Biden. It's not what's going on across the world. It's you. And I think a lot of times we like to say our dispatcher doesn't like me, or it's easy for you to say, or I'm getting bad clients. And it's just not the case. I've proven this hundreds and hundreds of times. I take one of my top 10 guys, send them to any market. I sent one of my guys years ago to Lake Havasu, and the guy in Havasu, the technician, called me and he goes, "How did you get all these great leads this week?" And I'm like, "We didn't do anything with marketing. It's all the same clients." So I think there's a lot to be said about your perspective, your attitude, your mindset.
Mhm. And like I said, attitude and mindset, and being able to change the performance aspect of the team that may be already there, right? So you said we didn't do anything different with marketing, but are you having those weekly conversations with your guys? Are you giving them the proper goals? Are you setting the right example for them to be able to be successful?
You know, my book, Elevate, Build a Business for Everybody Wins. I wrote the book and I didn't know how many people were going to be obsessed with this idea of performance pay, like having a stake in the outcome. What's in it for me? Why should I not get warranty calls? Why should I get 5-star reviews? Why should I show up on time and make sure my schedule's dialed in? Why should I care about conversion rate and opportunity job average? Winners they do not like salary and they do not like hourly. They just don't. Um, and by the way, sales is not a bad word. To sell is human. Selling is how to win friends and influence people. It's literally how you date your significant other. It's you got to build rapport with the person, smile at them, show them your teeth, and smell good, and really actively listen. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, I hate salespeople." It's like, what do you mean? Everyone's a salesperson.
Mhm. Everyone is a salesperson, and it's like you said, it's like the dating phase where, you see a significant other, you're really interested in them, you're trying to be personable, you're trying to get to know them as a person, and you're just not boxing yourself in knowing just one or two things about the person, right? No, you're digging in deeper, right? You're going for more. You're looking for all the intricacies, all the nuances, and you're not capping yourself out as I know her favorite color or his favorite color is this, and they like to eat this food, and then that's that. But when we talk about, being in the sales mindset, right? Like salespeople do, like you said, do not want to be boxed into this is just my option. It's either salary or hour by hour, right? But what's in it for me, right? How can I grow when the company grows?
Yep. And you know what I do with a good person is I'll say, "What are your goals?" First thing I'll usually ask somebody is, "What's your favorite team? Who's your favorite athlete?" And if they say somebody like Michael Jordan, I love the Bulls. The reason I love them is he'd show up even on sick days. He'd outwork people. He got coaches all around him. He bettered his best every day. Like it means they're competitive. And then I say, "Okay, what are your goals? What are your dreams?" And hopefully they got a lot of big goals. Like I want to buy my first house next year. Then I want to buy a new reoccurring income stream rental property every year after that. They just want nice things. They want to go through life first class. And so I have them dream, and then I reverse engineer it into a budget, and then I use their KPIs of how they get paid to say, "Here's what you would need to do." And so now they're like, "Whoa, if I stay at these numbers, this conversion rate, this many service to sales turnovers, this many sold service agreements, I'm going to make all like that dream becomes a reality." And I think a lot of people are like, "Go sell. You'll make a lot of money." And that's just not enough for most people. They need to have a very articulate plan that's written down, that's reminding them. One of my guys takes a picture of his son, and he's taking his son, he's 8 years old. He's taking him to Africa on a safari. And there's like his whole family, it's $8,000 per ticket. So he's got a picture of the family and a picture of, the African safari. He looks at that before he goes in every job and says, "This is why I'm doing this. And I'm going to give up my put my best foot forward. I'm going to go for no. I'm going to give options. I'm going to go above and beyond for this client." But it's also important they stay ethical. But I don't sell things people need. I don't believe in that. I sell things people want.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people buy a new iPhone every new one that comes out. They didn't need a new phone. They don't need a garage door opener that communicates with their cell phone to open and close it. Like, give them options. You know, some people are like, I walk into garages all the time. I used to, at least. And I'm like, I used to say you got a broken spring. And now I'm like, what's going on with the door? How long have you lived here? How often are you using it? This is a beautiful home. You got kids that live here. Are they playing sports in here? Do you got a kegerator? Like, do a needs analysis. And they might say, man, I really want to replace it. But if you don't ask questions and find out where they're coming from and their perspective, and then give options and say, listen, I'm going to go over 6 options. We'll go from top down. We'll go from the what I think is the best solution all the way down to a builder grade. And then you can pick one you like. How does that sound? And hopefully you get a yes. And then they're going with you. So we've got an 8-step sales process. We got 5 green lights to a turnover. I mean, we're obsessed with this idea of just going above and beyond that wow customer experience. And our ways are tried and true for a long time and they work. I call it the 8-step process that works every single time if it's executed correctly.
Mhm. And being able to have that 8-step process and that framework in place, like you said, if they follow that framework, they're able to be successful. And I think a lot of the mistakes that people make are they're not set up for success in the first place, right? Like they aren't coached, they aren't trained, they aren't given clear KPIs and goals. And if you don't do those things and put the foundation in place, you might be at a loss.
You will be. You know, people want to go. It's harder to hire people now because millennials, Gen Z, they want this work-life balance. They want to know they're part of a team. They want to know you're growing. They want to feel like they've got a stake in the outcome versus baby boomers. And I was with Nick Saban, I don't know, a month and a half ago, and one of the best coaches of all time, right? And we said, what's the more important, will or skill? Willpower? It's like nature versus nurture. And he said both. He goes, I'm a really great coach, but I'm a better recruiter. He goes, because I got to have my avatar, and then I'm going to coach them to be a badass. But without one or the other, you don't win. And I think a lot of people, we spend all this money on marketing, but we're never marketing for the people. We're not out there posting on social media all the time. We're not out there making sure our Indeed and Glassdoor. Half of my marketing brain power goes towards being a melting pot for great people, having them apply. Because without the people, you're never going to win. You cannot stick a square down a round hole.
Mhm.
You just can't. And some people will just weren't cut out to be very salesy. You know, they don't want to smile. And that's okay. They don't like to ask questions. They're very introverted. They got a lot of skill sets. And I'm not cut out to be a CFO. And that's okay. I mean, there's a lot of things I'm not cut out to be. So getting the right person that's motivated. I always you don't have to play sports, but you had to play the trumpet every day to get better. You had to play chess. You maybe did martial arts. Whatever it is, I wanted somebody that stayed consistent and got better and better and better. Because if they don't focus on those things and they've never really practiced in their life, the people I don't like to hire is, hey man, I'm happy if I got a food out, a warm dish on the table at night. I'm like, no, man, it's not gonna work. I want somebody that wants the world and they're willing to work for
I think that's such a good point to mention. Like you said, you want to have somebody that's motivated to want more. People that are just, maybe I'm complacent, I can do this and then, get back to, whatever interest they may have, whatever may be, their hobby outside of the normal working hours. Those people sometimes could just go on and they're not really there, right? You got a body, but the body and the mind aren't connected. So you need people that are competitive, like you said, sports, something that they put in some kind of energy into before to want to be successful, to stick it out, right? Even though they weren't great at sports or whoever that's playing the musical instrument at first, but with practice, they got better and better. Consistency was the key. So that they may not be a professional, they may not have played it in college, but through high school, they stuck it out, maybe through elementary, through middle school. But those are people with the qualities that you need to be able to look for to be able to hire with inside your organization, like you said, because those are the people that you could really turn into really valuable team members to be able to help your business grow and to be able to actually bring people along with them because it's contagious, right? What can one bad apple do to an organization?
Yeah. Well, rotten fruit, you put a rotten fruit next to a batch of grapefruit, it all rots. And I think a lot of people have their top guy that's actually running all the calls. They don't show up to meetings on time. They're just disrespectful. They're always rolling their eyes. And it's very difficult because you got to get rid of the bad apples. And a lot of times they're top performers. But you also got to make sure you understand these guys are okay riding alone. They're kind of like they're entrepreneurs. They need structure, but they need some flexibility as well. We've got this thing that talks to Service Center, which is our CRM, and it's a scorecard, and it shows your rankings for every major KPI you get paid on, so you can see where you're at. And the people that I can see when you log into the scorecard, some people log in 100 times a day. Other people never log in. That just tells me who's the badasses, I think that's important.
I think that's important too. Measuring, having those KPIs, but like you said, if they're not logging in, then they don't want it, right? If the people that are competitive, that want to do better, that want to be looking at engaging themselves of where I'm currently at, what level, and then how do I get better? Those are the people that are obsessed. You could almost say that it's almost like a business owner obsessed with marketing, right? Am I dominating my market? Those people are constantly checking where they're at invisibility wise, where they're at ranking wise, right? Because they want to get better.
100%. 100%. I mean, and also what I'll tell you is you need a good call center. We get really mad when a guy leaves with a zero that knocked on the door. But there's agents all the time not catching that call and not booking it. The average booking rate at all the home service call centers in the country is 45%. So we got to do our job in the call center. This is the number one thing I see. And sometimes these people, they're considered salespeople too. You got to sell them on the company why we're to use us without giving prices because you can't diagnose the problem without being there. And a lot of people, they lead with pricing. And that's just, it's kind of a bait and switch. Here's the price for that. Even though I've never went out there, I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know. I haven't been able to give you options. And that's, I think great salespeople like to be able to have different warranties they could sell and different quality of parts they could sell. They don't just like one part because you can't differentiate them then.
No, that's so true. And that's also that element of success that goes along with the salesperson. Like you said, it's the call centers, right? That you can go out and sell and hey, I'm gonna point you to the office, but if the office person is picking up and they're not engaged and they're distracted and they're talking to three or four other people in the background while the customer is, really just trying to relay their information to you, and maybe they're trying to call on their break and they don't have a lot of time, well, you're just killing the opportunity.
100%. Salespeople, I hate the word salespeople. I mean, I don't, these are technicians, right? These are good guys. We've got a whole process that is super dialed in. We do a lot of role play here. I want you practicing with me. I want you becoming the best technician, technical skills, operational skills. And yes, some of them are sales. And people are like, well, how much do you train on sales? I'm like, we train a lot, but a lot of it is just like tuck your shirt in, look customers in the eye, get down on one knee when you're presenting. It's everybody over like complicates sales. We buy from people we like, that we trust, that we feel like is a specialist. If I went to a doctor and I walked in and they said, here's what you need, I'd be like, and they didn't have confidence. I walk into the doctor's office, you fill out a clip of paperwork, you go get weighed, you go get your blood pressure, you go talk to the doctor. They start making you cough, check your heartbeat. Then they look into your ears, your nose, your eyes. Then they look into your throat. Then they say, are you smoking? How often? Are you drinking? What's your food level? What kind of stress and anxiety are you dealing with? Are you working out? How you feel? How do you feel? Do you have energy? And then after all these analysis and tests, they say, here's your prescription. I've never went to a doctor that I love, and they gave me the prescription. I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to get a few estimates on this. Like when we're the true doctor, when we're in the home and we give the prescription, they do the work.
And being able to be inside the home comes with the significance of being able to dial in emotional intelligence. And can you just talk about if that emotional intelligence is missing, what happens?
Yeah, I mean, listen, we use a thing called Rilla Voice, and it tells us how. So I put my phone out; it'll tell me it'll record the customer conversation. So it's almost like it's like a virtual ride along. And what we noticed is top performers ask 25 open-ended questions. Bottom performers only ask 5. They say a lot more yes or no questions. Top performers build rapport for an hour and 20 minutes. Bottom performers only build rapport for 30. Top performers give pricing options in finance terms with monthly. It'll be $38 a month. Bottom performers tell the total price. Top performers don't tell the company story till after they've given the price. Bottom performers tell it early. A lot of the emotional intelligence, the EQ, it's just simply like if you could look at somebody and say they don't feel comfortable. Like there's something going on here, or man, we're really good friends. Like this is going to go great. But people care about themselves the most. So if you can find things they like, they enjoy. I mean, when I walk through a house and then I go into the garage, there's something I have in common with them. Could be a bicycle. I used to have a Huffy when I was a kid. They've got a Huffy. It's a dumb example, but they might have a Harley Davidson. They go to Sturgis every year. And if you talk about those things and you ask great questions, you're actively listening, you're going to win.
And like you said, listening, engaging, asking the right questions, asking and digging deeper and going above and beyond, allows the technician to come in, build that rapport, make the customer feel great about them being there, being able to diagnose their problem, be able to suggest something, maybe moving forward. And it also leaves in their mind that, hey, if I have something else that's going on, or, maybe my neighbor is also dealing with this situation too. Well, what does that do to the customer? It makes them feel comfortable about being able to having the ability to be able to call the technician up, be able to call the office, and to be able to either leave that referral or be able to say, hey, look, I need service again.
100%. Referrals, there's this thing called the Net Promoter Score, and it basically says how happy is a client. 9 and 10s are promoters. 7 and 8s are kind of like they'd use you possibly again. Anything below that's unacceptable. And you want your clients to become promoters of your business. And you want to create raving fans where they go out and they say, this guy was funny. He was honest. He showed up on time. They did everything they needed to do. And I actually really like him. And I think he's a straight shooter. And as long as we get that, we're winning.
Mhm. And you definitely win 10 times over with that approach. And, being able to have your customers be that advocate for you, be able to be, almost another representation of your business, of your brand, knowing that you do good work, being able to leave that quality review, being able to leave that recommendation to family and neighbors, is really vital key to business growth, but it also, gives the the technician, the person that's talking with them, motivation to say, oh, great, I was able to make a connection. I was able to get them what they needed. I'm feeling really good about this. Hey, now I can go out and repeat it again, right? For more success.
Yep, that's what it's about. You know, we do these huge events for hiring, and a lot of times we'll do group interviews. We like to see how people feel in a public setting with other people around. Anybody can do good on an interview. We have so group interviews are harder. The best of the best stand out. And then we want to get to know them for the first month. They started out as an apprentice, and we want to make sure they show up on time. They ask great questions. Anybody can fake it for one day. You can't fake them for a month. So I highly recommend. A lot of people aren't doing these simple little tactics, and they work. People sound like the Taj Mahal when you're interviewing them. One of the things I do when I'm interviewing, because I think humility and humor is an important thing, is we'll be in the middle of an interview and I'll say, hold on one second. Can you repeat after me? Happy birthday. Sing along to you. Happy. And we just do this. And if they kind of look at me like, I'm not singing happy birthday, then they're probably not a good fit. But if they're laughing and they'll get up and they'll start, then it's like, they're probably pretty cool. And I think humor and just one of the other things I do is I try to look for other reviews on Yelp and Google. And if every review they leave is a 1-star and they're complainers, how are they going to be when they work with you? So note to self, start leaving good reviews out there for people.
And you brought up a good point of when you're interviewing, being able to put the person people into a group setting, right? Being able to gauge them, to be able to have that also break it up, sense of humor, right? It's a mixed bag of professional, emotional, personable, right? You're looking for all these different qualities to be able to mix together. And that's what's going to be able to determine if the person is going to be a right fit in your organization, right? So you have to do really good pre-vetting. And a lot of times just, hey, let me put this, job ad up there. Let's see who we get in. All right, I talked to this person. I'm feeling okay about it. Let's go. And then, like you said, they get in there and they lay some eggs.
I love it.
So we talked about, sales, really focusing in on the customer, being able to, like I said, go above and beyond the experiences is what we want. We want our people to be able to buy in, stay motivated, have a stake in it, really being able to know what their KPIs are, to be able to go in if you're KPI tracking, if they're going in, logging into the system, being able to see how they're tracking, how they're measuring up against, other people, technicians inside of the business. These are all elements that you want to be able to have and build out inside of your business. A lot of times, what you see is, I have a problem with my business. Where's your problem? I feel like it's over here. I feel like it's in sales, or I feel like it's this. But if you don't have the right systems and processes in place, how can you really tell, right?
Yeah, you got to read the 7 Power Contractor. Al Levy changed my life. Here's the thing. Sales are super important, but booking rate, the right marketing to attract the right customer. I got branded by Kick Charge, Dan Antonelli. He wrote a book. I was 40 million when I got rebranded. And all of a sudden, I pulled up to a customer's house in this new brand new van, new logo, perfect colors. And all of a sudden, I was in the part of the community that people knew I was like, I'm not the cheap guy. I'm not a discount city. I'm not get it done cheaper here brand. We look the premium brand, we charge the premium prices, but we get it fixed the same day. We're background checked, we're drug tested, we're safe around your family. And when you buy a house, you tend to, your first house, you try to get everything on a deal. And then your roof leaks, your chimney falls apart, it's just a constant flow of stuff. But then you kind of realize you get what you pay for. And so I want to be that premium brand. I want to take care of people. I want to make sure that my clients feel appreciated and that we give a lot of gratitude that they chose us to work with. But ultimately, I can tell you, it makes a big difference on how your brand is built and who does your brand. Because some people have like the white truck, the white van with everything they do on it. They got Angie's List, they got the BBB, they've got Yelp, and it's not like this dude. If you don't have a great brand, you got to call Kick Charge. Branded, not blanded, is his book.
That's excellent. I think everybody should go out, read the book, read Tommy's books, and really take that in, right? Knowledge is the key to being able to know what you need to work on, to be able to kind of see where you have these areas of opportunities, but allows you self-reflection too as well. You're able to go in, you're able to kind of get that key aspect and information that you may need for that light bulb to click to say, okay, these are the things I need to implement in my business. These are the changes I need to make, because it's every sector needs to be able to come together, be married together to be able to be effective for moving forward and to be able to have that growth.
That's it right there, man. You got it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Tommy, thanks so much for joining. Could you let the audience know where they can find you at?
Yeah, so if you ever wanted to do a shop tour, see how we do things, TommyMello.com has all my social media. If you go to TommyMello.com/shop, you can come do a shop tour. I don't charge. I give you some books. Just try to answer questions. I try to be a steward, pay it forward, because people help me along the way. I used to do a bunch of shop tours. So if you ever want to meet and you're in Phoenix, come do a shop tour. And then the next thing is I've got a pretty cool newsletter. You get a few free issues, TommyMello.com/news. And if you're not part of my Facebook group, there's 13,000 contractors, very smart people. All your answers, it's free. It's just go into Facebook and type in home service expert, and we'll let you in. We'll help you out. We'll help. What is it? High tide raises all boats. We try to help each other, try to win together, build a business where everybody wins. That's the goal. So hopefully you got something. You took one thing out of this and you could go apply it today. I really appreciate you letting me on the podcast.
Excellent. No, thanks, Tommy. Great. So great having you.
Thanks, man.
All right, everyone, tune in next time for the next episode. Don't forget to follow and leave your comments.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Blueprint Boost for Contractors. We hope you found today's insights and strategies valuable for your contracting business. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and please leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring content that truly matters.